Okay. I hold before you the most interesting chart in crypto history. Fun fact, okay, this is the Luna, now known as Luna Classic, Terra Classic, LUNC token. We have now been in the abyss for quite some time, since May. Okay. And the equivalency, if this is a measure of distance, we've been in the abyss as long as it took from Terra to get from $25 to $30 up to 120. So there's this distance is equal to this distance. Anyhow, this really is the most interesting chart in all of crypto. This cliff right here, this is what people are prophesying that XRP Ripple's going to do, except for it's going to be the opposite. Instead of going from 100 to 0, right, they're saying it's going to go from 0 to 100. And anything that can fall down that fast can probably go up that fast. And the other interesting thing about crypto, you see these vertical, these are vertical ramps. When it jumps, it jumps. You know, when it goes up, it goes up. And when it goes down, it can go down. So I'm bringing this up. I wanted to address in many of my videos, people are saying, God showed me $1 or $10 or prophetess, what's her name? Dr. somebody. I can't think of her name. Maria Conwell. She prophesied it's going to hit, I don't know, what, $5 or $10. And this is with respect to SHIBA, INU. And, I take these other words with a grain of salt personally. I am going to hold on, Lord willing, to some SHIBA tokens. But in my particular dream, that I know was from God, 13 cents was a target. And this is, I made another video about it, but I'm going to try to explain it in like 2 sentences. The first dream that God gave me about crypto involved Dogecoin. And in that dream, I saw the coin had the year 2064 AD. And the price of Dogecoin, when I looked up on a screen what it was going up, 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 up at a value of about $300. So I meant when I bought Dogecoin at a nickel and it went up to 60 cents, I didn't take profits. I held on to it because I had this $300 figure in my head from a previous dream. Will Dogecoin ever hit $300? This thing here. Okay. Maybe. Probably. By the year 2064, I don't know why God showed me $300 in that dream. I don't. It was from God. I know it was. So this 13-cent value that I have received, that I'm sharing, use it at your own risk. Would you not hate to hold out for $1 and it takes another 10 years for SHIBA INU to reach that value, or another 10 months for that matter? So I show this chart. It's the Terra Luna project. It came virtually from nowhere up to $120, and in short order, sub penny, this is where we're at. We're in the great unknown. This is the deep sea. Deep sea of red. Okay. So, in summary, the 13-cent value, I believe, is specific for a timing, okay? For timing. So, hypothetically, let's pretend this was the future SHIBA INU chart. And let's say this is where we're at, this red. And let's say this is 13 cents. Perhaps the Lord is showing me to sell here. This all hypothetical. And then it continues to trend downwards, nosedives, and spikes back up and crosses that same 13-cent line. Let's say I sold off and it comes back down here to a penny. This is all speculation. I can buy back in at a penny with those profits at 13 cents. If you were holding on to for a dollar, if you're waiting for this event, you missed the profit-taking process. Notice the pun on words. The profit-taking process. So let's say if it was to hypothetically dip back down to a penny, retrace back to that 13 level, and continue to gain some kind of hype with a burn, or only the Lord knows, and it reaches that dollar level, those holders missed out on profit taking and buying that dip. So you could literally, with this example, if you sold at 13, bought back at a penny, you could take 90% profit, reinvest 10%, and get the same amount. If you hear me. So that's an example just of possibilities of why I was shown the 13 cents, and in that dream it was connected to I believe the next move, the next big move, and it was connected to the flash crash. So if you see the crash event, then you should be looking for the 13-cent valuation. That being said, I think God gave me a few reference points to expect it to be a relevant sell point. So, that being said, hope that somehow is helpful. This is the phantom chart. Now, you notice it's not uncommon for these giant mountainous spikes to be preceded by like a shadow of sorts. So this is like a miniature version of this price action. That could be because of algorithms and market manipulation. I don't know. It doesn't seem coincidental that you get this every time. But what I thought was interesting about this old phantom chart, this is 2022. It had two equal spikes. That's not at all-time highs, okay? You don't see that on many charts. If you see the all-time high, any spike that precedes it or follows it is usually not equal. So some prophetic people, believers in Jesus Christ, have prophesied that SHIBA is going to have two big spikes. So take that for what it's worth. But when you look at this, this value down here, this is the 2-cent range for Phantom. 2 cents. This is $3. I mean, it's mind-blowing to think that someone bought this in 2021 for 2 cents, and in 2022 they had not one, but two opportunities to sell. These moments are brief. These are points in time. When they pass, the next thing you know, you could wake up a week later thinking it was going to go up, and you're way down here. So these sell orders, when you have resolved in your mind a price, if the Lord reveals a price to you, that is the key information is the target selling point. And if you have that, any quantity, you can buy anywhere in here, but if you know where to sell it, you can be late to the game. If you have the sell point and it is a divine instruction, you can't lose if it's truly from the Lord. So, all that being said, I had another thing I wanted to try to bring up. So, some people make fun of me, and I listen to some of my videos, and I'm like, man, I sound kind of not that intelligent, and I speak slow, and especially in the morning, and I'm trying to cover so many different ideas. Sometimes it just sounds a little bit like I ride a short bus. But this is what I have to say to all the haters who think that I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Oh, this reflection on this thing. Anyway. Alright, I had to make myself laugh. Then, here's another, this is off of a Low Budget Stories channel. These are memes, and this particular one is about crypto. I'm just going to show a little clip. This is a cliche, and shout out to my brother, Low Budget Stories. These are kind of like the Dilbert cartoons of our age, except for it's, not a comic strip.
What's an Ethereum? Is it like a new video game?
Oh!
Dude, do you even know what crypto is?
You mean the Bitcoin stuff?
Yes, dude, cryptocurrencies. It's our way out of this wage slavery. I already doubled my money within 2 months.
You should try it too, Wojak. It's like stocks but on steroids.
But don't you need a lot of knowledge to be able to make some profits?
The whole market is going crazy. Gains are everywhere. Even without knowledge, you can become rich. If you just follow us, we will guide you.
Okay, sounds good. I'll open an account after work.
Okay. So, on YouTube, there's hundreds of channels of people giving financial advice, and they all give that disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I'm not a certified financial advisor, but they're sitting there, and if you look at their track records, some of them have been spot on. There was a couple of people that predicted the FTX insolvency and that called it out to be a Ponzi scheme before it broke out in the mainstream. But for the most part, a lot of these people that are given these advices, they got lucky once, and a lot of them with crypto, like this guy said, it's like the stock market on steroids. You get lucky a few times and you can think the gains just always keep coming, and then all of a sudden, something like that Luna project happens, right? So, something like this happens. It happened with Voyager, okay? It happened with Terra Luna. I don't know about Gemini. I think Gemini might be messed up. That the Mt. Gox collapse, those people are just now getting some of their Bitcoin back. But you can be riding this high and thinking you're king of the world, and then, pennies, dollars turn into pennies, and pennies turns into fractional pennies. I bought Luna Classic after it crashed at the dollar range, and my dollar turned into a penny. It was down to $1. Or I think maybe I even bought it at a penny, and then that penny turned into like nothing. And it wasn't until about a week went by that God gave me the revelation that it was going to hit 50 cents again. So, you know, by then it had 4 or 5 zeros, and I started to accumulate. But to watch $100 investment turn into $1 overnight, I had that happen to me. After this free fall, right here, I had $100 turned into $1 overnight, literally overnight. So that cartoon is funny. It makes it sound like, oh, you know, everyone's making money. And now the narrative is, oh, everyone's losing money. But we are getting in position, and Lord willing, with the right choices and God's guidance and favor, we will, as Brother Keith said, we're going to kill this bear market. The prophetic word. Talk about a prophetic word. So I wanted to show one more thing. This is kind of like a mashup video, but I want to encourage people, you know. Okay, so this is a little snippet from one of the richest men in the world back in 1999. I think it's from that time period, but you'll see.
Given the decades of wisdom that has built up in the business world, investors, it sounds like you're saying, are making a big speculative bet if they're investing in your company's stock.
Well, I think all internet companies, you know, the stocks are incredibly volatile, and
But even long term.
Long term, I believe that it's very easy to predict that there are going to be lots of successful companies born of the internet. They're going to have very large market caps and so on. I also believe that today, where we sit, it's very hard to predict who those companies are going to be. So, you know, you can make bets on these things, and I think that Amazon.com, if we're not one of those important, lasting companies born of the internet, we will have nobody to blame but ourselves, and that we will be extremely disappointed in ourselves. But there are no guarantees. It's very, very hard to predict. If you go back and look at the companies created by the PC revolution, in 1980, you probably wouldn't have predicted the 5 winners. You know, the 5 biggest winners. There have been lots of winners, actually. So this space is a little different, and brand name may mean more, and there's some increasing returns kinds of things may mean more.
Oh! Battery issues. Okay. Well, what Jeff Bezos was talking about is the challenge with predicting winners in a emerging technology. And what he was going to go on to say is that his core values very early on in his company was customer service and focusing, he said, in his words, he was about to get to it till my computer died, being obsessive about customer service and providing ease of use, providing all the information that the customers would need, having the best return policies. You know, he quoted, even back then, they had a 30-day return policy, but he wanted to differentiate himself from being an internet-based company. So the reporter later on in that interview said something about him being purely internet-based. He says, no, we don't look at ourselves as purely internet-based because we're providing a service to a customer. So he wanted to separate his identity. He wasn't just another .com. He wasn't just another web domain. He was actually a warehouse, a series of warehouses, his company Amazon, stationed around the country that were providing a brand new delivery system to people all over, at that time, North America or the United States. And I wanted to use that. I'm not an expert on Ripple, but it seems like you could substitute his strategy and mentality with what Brad Garlinghouse is accomplishing, except for what Ripple's doing, is worldwide. He's going into Africa, they're going into India, they're going into Southeast Asia, and the big hang-up, supposedly, is with the SEC here in the United States. But what Ripple and XRP is aiming to do is almost identical. They don't see themselves as another crypto company. They don't even probably see themselves as crypto at all. They're looking at customer service. And who are their customers? Institutions and banks who have these liquidity problems. And they're solving this problem, providing the best. He wants his customers to have the best experience. So if Ripple's going to be providing, so Jeff Bezos focused on the retail consumer, okay, the average internet user who's going to go to Amazon.com and choose a product. Ripple, it seems like they're focused on large banking institutions, large banks, so, and across the world. That's their customer. So crypto, as I want to try to understand it, and we only can understand it partially, it's going to drive businesses and potentially governments. And it could be in the realms of cybersecurity, financial transaction with speed and security. And it could also be with data storage, the same way you have, cloud services now. So data, finances, and even potentially operating software, that you can do automated AI payrolls, and it could make CPAs potentially even obsolete if you use a crypto to subscribe to a software service, right? You're paying for that service with a native token. The other thing that's interesting, the dot-com bubble burst, and then we saw the big winners break out, and these winners have become tainted, so to speak. Google has, I think, a bad reputation. In my opinion, it's too big for its britches. Seems like they've used a certain preface to do another. Like, in other words, they're like, sure, use our services, but we're going to collect all your data. So it's like they're stealing private information. They even had the driverless cars going around scanning neighborhoods. I mean, privacy is almost not even fathomable with a Google. So Google has a bad reputation. Well, Facebook, I think, is turned into a cesspool. It kind of has a bad reputation. YouTube has been censoring alternative views from they're highly left-leaning as far as a corporation, and anyone who expresses views outside, well, YouTube is part of Google, but they've been censoring information. So when you control the information, or you are king of information, then you can start censoring it and picking and choosing and even deplatforming people. So Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter have become notorious for this. Twitter suspended the account of a sitting president. That, to me, is the biggest red flag in the history of my life, is that a president could be silenced by an American tech company. So he wasn't even, no, I'm not going to go there. So why am I talking about this? All these .com slash internet-based companies that rose to the highest peak of prosperity or power. They have the most end users. They've gone global, especially with the smartphone. There's a lot of human resources, so to speak, quote, quote, software engineers, programmers who are disgruntled, who are independent thinkers. They don't necessarily want to go with the company's narrative or agenda. Maybe they have a brilliant idea, but their manager won't allow them to make it a reality because of a predisposed agenda. So there could be even a video game developer who has this great idea, but they're like, no, we want you to work on, Madden 2022. He's like, no, but I've got this great idea. So with crypto, you're getting an exodus of the talent, some of the brightest minds in the tech space. They're going and jumping into these projects and building in a decentralized manner so that they can be rewarded directly by the usage that will occur in the future. They won't have a cap on their salary. They'll be able to invest in that native token themselves and benefit from the appreciation of the value of that token. So that applies to every industry in the tech sector as we know it. Software, services, like even Microsoft Word could be replaced by a decentralized version that you subscribe to with a certain token. So Phantom could have an office suite of products that you could have someone build on that network, and you pay for it with Phantom, and it could be far cheaper than the Microsoft equivalent. These are just thoughts, of it's not just magic internet money. It is the key to obtaining and exchanging for certain products and services into the future. And it's almost like that could bring judgment and the downfall of the Netflix, Google, YouTube, Uber behemoth that has kind of wrapped its tentacles around information sharing as we know it and the monetization of it. So all that being said, food for thought, and I hope this video was somehow entertaining and helpful. I kind of think I drank too much coffee, so my mind is blank. God bless y'all. I wanted there at the end, Ripple could be like the next Amazon. XRP would be the equivalent of its stock, because XRP is what you will have to demand. The banks, in my opinion, and what I think is going to happen, banks are going to have to buy XRP. Each XRP will buy the banks a certain amount of transactions, and they'll be able to save money and become more efficient. And if they can save money and become more efficient, they're in a crunch. Banks are in a total crunch. There's so much competition in that space, so they'll do anything they can do to cut corners and become more profitable. So have a good one.